Project 70, when we write it, we put ProjectLXX.com, was created to provide support for our related businesses and websites. It was specifically to produce, market, and sell products for the Old Man's Cafe, World Money Laundering Report, and to support training and education in the areas of financial crime, risk, and compliance, with the first range dedicated to money laundering and so on, changes for lawyers in Australia. Project 70 is a division of a company that was formed in 1999. It's been in the same ownership, with the same management, with no material changes in their personal information for well over 25 years. The same formal details and even the same bank accounts. Vortex Centrum is a poster boy for corporate stability. And yet, we've had a whole series of problems trying to set up Project 70, ProjectLXX.com, as an independent business unit. In this series of videos, I'm going to explain exactly what those problems were and how you can hopefully be able to avoid some of them, both through the videos and also through the related book, which explains to you some of the pitfalls of setting up businesses, online businesses, international online businesses, and also actually how to set up and how to create from scratch a website which will take you out of many of the problems that we encountered setting up this very small but nevertheless quite complex business. We were looking at ways to market our brand, and there was a company we hadn't given any consideration to, Amazon. Today we'll look at our experience with Amazon, where our attempt to engage came to a very polite full stop, and we didn't even have a single product on the market. So what went wrong? Actually, nothing went wrong. Amazon made a perfectly valid business decision for valid business reasons. We applied to become a print-on-demand customer, basically replicating our books business, and Amazon said they were in the early stages of scaling and they were fully subscribed. Okay, so it's a bit galling that our history didn't matter, and it's a bit irritating that they continue to market a service that they're not accepting customers for. Wasting other people's time seems to be the hallmark of many businesses these days. Amazon said we were welcome to list our products at Amazon.com, so I didn't just do that. Well, it's simple. Print on demand meets our no waste ethos, which means there's no stock, which means nothing sitting in warehouses around the world, awaiting pick and pack if anyone buys it, and if not, wasting the cost and the materials, which will probably just end up in a landfill. But there's more. We wanted to put our arty products, including t-shirts, mouse mats, cushion covers, on Amazon, and it should have been a doddle. But it wasn't a doddle. When it comes down to complexity and margin, the more time we spend in managing stuff, the less time we have to design stuff. It also comes down to the fact that Amazon dilutes our own marketing effort by recommending what its algorithm determines are similar. Well, no, our stuff is unique. Any recommendation is a diversion and causes confusion in the minds of customers. We need clarity of thought and the shortest route from ooh to buy. So even if someone has a link to our product on Amazon, Amazon's own internal referral system destroys that clarity of purpose. But there were some other reasons too. It's important to know that we were adding Amazon to a portfolio. We were not intending that it would become our only or even our primary manufacturer. It would provide a boost to Project 70, ProjectLXX.com, in internet search results, which is good. But if our experience with KDP print-on-demand books is anything to go by, it absolutely should not be more than marketing support for products originating with our primary providers. Why is that? Well, the economics of dealing with Amazon are not suitable for startups. There's a difference between books and t-shirts, for example. Printing and binding a book is a complex process, and books are disproportionately heavy for their size. Amazon's reach into bookshops means that books can, and often do, appear on shelves, albeit in small numbers, and the quality is good. But except for the quality issue, those other factors don't really come into the decision-making process for clothing and housewares, homewares. But accepting the quality issue, those other factors don't really come into the decision-making process for clothing and homewares, for example. For us, it would be more of a marketing tool than a sales environment. Also, Amazon is big, really, really big. Trying to get a book noticed in its internal search engine has become very unreliable. There's not only the problem of scale, which actively promotes best sellers at the expense of those trying to enter the market, but the introduction of technology, falsely called artificial intelligence, into search engine results in wildly inconsistent results, many of which are not relevant to the inquiry. It's not unreasonable to assume that those factors will be amplified for other products. And then there are the payment terms. Let's ignore for a moment the cost structure and let's talk about when you get paid. We have no argument with a system that says the supplier will hold on to proceeds of sale until a certain moderate threshold is reached and then pay out. Or, in the alternative, say every 90 days, regardless of whether that threshold has been reached. But where the proceeds of sale of every book is held for 3 months, that's a huge disincentive to new and small businesses which depend on cash flow. And it would be even more so if, for example, we took up Amazon's offer of having products produced elsewhere and then listing them on Amazon. So Amazon depends on cash flow, and it funds that cash flow out of sellers' revenue. It's called the float. What if we changed our strategy? What if a supplier didn't fund its own operations out of the float? What if our own suppliers were not actively encouraging prospective customers to look at products made available by others? Were there ways of building a platform under our own control? You betcha, and you can too. We built a new platform at ProjectLXX.com. We tested it, we populated it, we started selling from it, and then we did it all again, this time documenting every step from starting a business through installing software and building the website from scratch to launching our own brand. Following our model, you can too. And it's all within your own control, with all costs contained and predictable. We documented it in a digital book. You can buy the digital download of Create Your Own Print-on-Demand Dropshipping Brand via the link in the description or through vortexcentrum.com.